Hello, welcome to the Professor once again. We continue our series on exam tips, and today we want to look at other components of preparing for your exam and having a very excellent results. And I'll start today's discussion by looking at reading for your exams. I've had students say that I actually read very well. I came for lectures, I did my assignment, and I still do not understand why I'm not doing well. And what I would say with respect to that is this: that when you are reading for your exams, you know that you must go from the state of reading to the state of studying, to the state of meditating, reflecting on what you have read. Not only at the time that you are reading, but even when you are doing other things, to stimulate your recall process, to stimulate your knowledge base. You need to tax your brain. So you don't just read. You know, if you take a novel and you read just for entertainment, to enjoy. You do not necessarily intend to remember all the basic facts, the minute details. But when you are reading for exams, when you are preparing for exams rather, you have first read generally to have a broad knowledge of the area. Now, as a student, if all that you have is a broad knowledge of the subject area, you may just pass that exam, but you may not do excellently well because you will not go into details. You need to move from just having that broad knowledge, which is what you all have at the beginning when you read it for the first time once or so, to study. That is, you now sit back and pay attention to some details and you ask some questions. You ask critical questions. Like somebody tells you a story, you are objective and you ask some very strong questions about what you have read. And if you do that, you will realize that there are some things that, what if this happens? What if that happens? That's when you're able to ask questions of your lecturers during lectures. You also move from that state of studying to meditating, reflecting on what you have read. If you don't have that time, that opportunity to reflect, to sit back and reminisce on the knowledge that you have just obtained, it will be difficult for you to apply it to a different scenario that you might be confronted with during exams. So I would say that for a law student, you can't just read once and enter the exam hall. You need to read to the stage where you study to the state. When you study, that means you have different materials. You probably have your textbooks, you have your journals, you have your cases, you have the lecturer's notes, you have the lectures. You take everything together. You will be able to see, there's a gap somewhere. There seems to be a contradiction. There seems to be a gray area. That's when you get to the stage of studying, not when you just take one material and just read it because that's what they gave you in class. Then beyond that, you get to the state of meditating, reflecting. Because when you get to the example and you see that question, what you are going to be doing is to begin to meditate on the question. You are going to begin to reflect on the question, and your legal mind will begin to discover the issues that they want you to attend. So note that I said your legal mind. And how are you going to have a legal mind? That is the mind of a lawyer. When anybody tells a story or says something in society, when it gets into the hands of a lawyer, they will see so many things that the laymen or the educated people have not seen. You have that legal mind by the content that is retained in you, by the knowledge of the law that you have been able to obtain. I'm sure you know that now that you're a law student, the way you say things is beginning to change. When you have interactions in society, you say, that is a breach of contract. That is a trespass to person. Because of the knowledge you have that this constitutes a breach of contract or a trespass to person. The same thing that would happen to a doctor. When you tell somebody, I seem to be yawning a lot, and the person is a medical doctor, the knowledge of medicine would tell them this is a sign of a particular issue or not. Meanwhile, you as a lay person will not be able to pick those issues. So because this question of issues and answering questions all revolve around the knowledge of the law that you have retained and you are able to apply. By reading, studying, meditating, you will get to the state of application. which is what you do when you get into the exam hall or when you get to a real life situation. So I would say your legal mind will be nurtured by the fact that every time now that you're a law student, every time you observe anything by your senses, think of it in terms of what you have been taught. Okay, what would that mean? As a student of land law, what would that mean? Or the person has taken, or the tenant is refusing to leave the premises, or your neighbor, punctured your tires, your friend used your dress without your consent. Your mind becomes a legal mind because somebody has given you the knowledge that this is the implication of those actions. So when you therefore see that story and you read that story, or somebody tells you that kind of story, the content of the knowledge that you have retained will tell you there is an issue here. Can you put somebody's clothes? Can you put it on without their consent? Or there's a problem here. What is the legal effect of puncturing somebody's tires? Those are the issues. So your legal mind, you train it right from the time you are playing with your friend. So your friend has taken your phone and is using it without your consent. No, do you know that you have just done this or that? That way you are getting used to picking issues. I'm not saying you should go and begin to crucify people in society, but I'm saying that you begin to train your mind so that it's not in the exam hall that you develop a legal mind. It's not in the exam hall. It is by the things you have done before the exams. So I would say therefore that you should learn how to prepare for your examinations. You must also ensure that as a good student, in every subject that you are taking, you know the gray areas. By gray areas, I mean the areas that are not so clear. When the lecturers are taking you, they will tell you, oh, this issue, what about this issue? Oh, the Supreme Court decided in this case like this and this, but earlier it had decided like this. Dr. Something wrote an article and argued that this in England. They give you some different areas that are not settled positions of law. You need to take note of those areas because those are the things that will bring out exam questions. The unsettled areas, the conflicting areas, the conflicting decisions, the dissenting judgments that the lecturer seems to have emphasized. So you need to take care and note the gray areas in every field. You also need to know the locus classicus cases and articles that have been given unto you. Now, each subject area and each topic has keywords, things that are very germane, fundamental to that subject area, to that topic, to that subtopic, such that if somebody were to close their eyes and they are not even reading a script, they just look at the script and they see those words popping out of your script, they will know that you know the subject area. That's why when we write academic articles, they put keywords. If you take those keywords and put it in your search engine, it will bring out articles that contain those keywords, and they will all be talking about the same issues. Do you know the keywords in the topic you are reading? Do you know the key cases in those topics? These are the things that you need to take note of and make sure that you put it in your mind. You study them and you know them. So therefore, the lesson from this discussion now is that you pass your exams before you enter the exam hall. Whether you are going to pass an exam is determined before you enter the exam hall. Whether you can pick issues in a question is determined by the knowledge of the law. It is the knowledge of the law in your heart, in your mind, in your consciousness that will ring a bell and say, wow, that is a question, that's an issue dealing with false imprisonment, that's an issue dealing with conspiracy. And with that, you can pick your issues without missing anyone. So let's leave it at that. I'll see you at the next presentation when we begin to talk about specifics.